Welcome everybody to Pine Tribe Author Interviews. I'm Philip Tramper, and today I'm here with Martin Bjergegaard, co-author of Winning Without Losing, the Chartered Management Institute's Management Book of the Year. Very exciting talks about how to achieve work-life balance through talking to role models and sort of picking their brains at how do you really achieve work-life balance. And I think work-life balance is kind of the field that you're the expert in. But how do you stumble across this whole topic, and what really made you decide to seek out work-life balance?
I think that was a very personal experience where I was working for a big management consultancy firm. And for a while I definitely didn't have a good work-life balance. And I experienced, like I think a lot of people have, how painful that can be. And after 15 months in that job, I simply couldn't sleep anymore. So after 3-4 days without sleep, then I was completely a nerve wreck, and I decided to quit that job. I couldn't do anything else, right? And I remember after calling back to back home to the headquarters. I was stationed in Kuwait City at the time on a project. I've been there for a couple of months, just working all the time, not seeing the people I love, not really doing anything apart from working. So I called back home and I said I quit. And I remember the HR manager there, she said, you can't just quit over the phone, come back home, we'll find an easier project for you. I know that was a lie because they don't have any projects. So I just said, no, you really don't understand. I need you to kind of respect that I'm quitting here. And when she said, okay, if that's what you need to do, then I went back up to my hotel room and I slept like a baby. So that was really my first experience. It was my whole system was just telling me, my whole body and everything was telling me this is wrong, right? Yeah. And because my mind didn't listen to it for a while, then at the end I just couldn't sleep anymore. No. And afterwards I thought, wow, that was really interesting. That there's kind of another intelligence at play that is not in my head but in my body in a way. And that was my first experience with that. Okay,
so it was like your body finally, like you made up your mind and you could just fall back asleep and relax into yourself.
And after a couple of weeks I felt great again. And I found a job that I really loved, working for a successful Danish entrepreneur. That was my first, in a way, role model. A very different kind of role model than the typical partner at a consultancy firm, because he was he was really passionate about his business, and he's very successful with it and very well known here in Denmark.
Getting back to your book, is it just the interaction with him that inspired you and Jordan to co-write this book, or how did the whole compilation of 66 strategies get together?
When my co-author Jordan Milne and myself, we met, we talked about what kind of book is it we want to create here. We were quite passionate about the idea of making a book, because we both wanted to go deeper into the topic. And a good way to do that would be to write a book about it, right? Then you have a reason for getting the work done and dig in. So we decided it could be so awesome to make a book. And then we thought about, we ourselves often put down a book after 50 pages or something like that and then lose interest. And as an entrepreneur, maybe your attention span is a bit short sometimes, and maybe you're a bit busy sometimes. And okay, those very long books, and especially the Americans write very long books often, textbook style, and that can be a bit boring. So we decided we want to make a book that's definitely not boring, and that gets to the point, and not just one point, many points.
It's great to hear that it was an interest of yours, and the reason why you wrote a book was mainly to fulfill your own interest, and then you sought this out because you've been described as a serial entrepreneur, and you like to get your hands dirty into projects. But what is it in you particularly that just drives you to say, I should start a business, or anything like that? Do you just dive into it, or?
I basically can't take any credit for that. It's because I grew up with a dad who was an entrepreneur. He came home and said, I have this crazy idea and it's going to be amazing. And then he started doing it the next day, right? So it's very natural for me, a natural way of life, natural way of having a job. So it doesn't work for me to basically work for others. So I need to do what I'm doing. I'm not saying that it's necessarily better. Sometimes it gives you more trouble, but I can just see that it comes natural to me.
Does that mean that there would be obstacles for anybody else who doesn't have this upbringing or this natural instinct to just go out and do it? Can everybody achieve entrepreneurship? Can everybody achieve work-life balance, or is that something you're brought up with?
If we talk about entrepreneurship to begin with, I think a lot of people can do that, and I also see mature entrepreneurs, or put it another way, people who have had a job and been really achieved some competences, and then they figure out at a later stage that they want to do their own thing. Often they're very successful actually, because they really know what they're doing. So I started out when I was 18, and I made a lot of failures because I didn't really know anything, and I had to go back to school and take this management consultancy job and go work for another entrepreneur and those kind of things to learn something. And that's not without frustration, of course. So maybe it wouldn't hurt sometimes to actually learn an industry, learn something, and then jump out into entrepreneurship. But of course, what can sometimes happen is that you never get started, because you get to be in this golden cage where you get a nice fat salary and you get a family, and your wife or husband won't allow you. I never understood what that means. My wife won't allow it, come on, and she will just think you're a lot sexier if you do it. But that's often what happens, and I meet a lot of people who say, it's kind of too late now. Of course, it's never too late. It's never too early. It's never too late. It's right when it's right. But that's my perspective on it.
One of the things I thought was really excellent was I read one of your articles recently, which is about the misconceptions of work-life balance. And since you are such a leader, you probably get hounded all the time for like, oh, how do I get this? And how do I become balanced? And who, what, where, when, why, like just always in your face. Is there anything in particular where it's like, that's not the life of a balanced person, or you think that this is the life of a balanced person and this is how it actually is?
Yeah, well, one thing I often hear is if I send someone an email a Friday evening, for instance, I get the reply back that, I thought you were balanced, what are you doing? And for me, work-life balance has nothing to do with kind of a specific hours a day. It's not like you work 9 to 5, then you're really balanced. That would be terrible boring for me, for instance. I want the freedom to maybe have a run in the middle of the day, or a meditation in the middle of the day, if that's what I need, if that's what feels right at the time, in order to be in a good flow afterwards with my work. And if that's possible compared to meetings and things like that. And it also comes natural for me that maybe I sit in a Friday evening and get inspired, and I want to do something, or my wife has gone to bed but I'm not really ready for bed yet, then maybe I'll sit and work for an hour, and it's just nice. I enjoy it. A nice cup of coffee or something. And so it's not to have that very fixed picture of what work-life balance looks like. I think it's different for all of us, and I hesitate to call myself an expert because no one is perfect, and we all have challenges, I think, and you can never have a perfect work-life balance. Sometimes you're going to get off track, of course, but the question is how good are you at finding back to what is important to you, and staying true to your values. So it's just about figuring out what's important to you, what's important to me, and then staying on the right track and being true to that.
So work-life balance is different for everybody. It's all about your personal priorities and wants and needs.
Absolutely.
Now, is there any way that can become kind of conflicting? Let's say that you're working in a company and work-life balance is practiced and preached there, but people have different priorities. Is it still possible to have that perfect synergy or cohesion within the team?
Perfect is a big word, right?
That's a good point.
But I think you can get very, very far. And tolerance is a big part of that, and getting to know each other well, also privately. And actually, if the team people like each other, and if they respect each other, and maybe one has a couple of kids that need to be picked up, and then you understand that, and then maybe you prefer really not to work after 8 o'clock, but maybe they will work a couple of hours after 8 o'clock. But they need to leave the office early, or whatever works for people. And I think as long as everyone respects each other, and everyone is motivated by the cause or the mission, or whatever we should call it, then it doesn't need to be a problem.
I want to thank Martin for stopping by today to talk to us about his book and work-life balance. If you want to learn more about winning without losing, or Martin and his co-author Jordan, check us out on pinetribe.com. There you can also see a bunch of blogs and articles by Martin, as well as we got a collection of quizzes where you can see if you are winning without losing, or how entrepreneurial are you actually. You can find out if you've got that burning desire to start your own company, or maybe you should try your luck elsewhere, you could say. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to our channel for more information from Pine Tribe. Thank you.